Let's take you back to one of the stories in our Watch the Big Stories at this hour. A number of people have been killed and others have been critically injured in a gas tanker explosion in Boksburg. This is east of Johannesburg. A few cars were stuck under the tanker. Emergency services personnel, including paramedics, are currently on the scene in Railway Street. For more on this particular story, we are now joined by Road Traffic Management Corporation spokesperson Simon Zwane. Thank you so much for your time on the agenda, Mr. Zwane. First of all, there are so many reports coming in about this particular story right now. When did this explosion happen?
The explosion happened around 7:30 in the morning.
All right. And what do we know about the explosion thus far, Mr. Zwane? Do we know what caused the explosion at this particular point?
Now, what we know is that a gas tanker collided with the bridge. He tried to go under the bridge, but the bridge was too low for the tanker, and it got caught under the bridge, caused an explosion. And then there were people going to work and some onlookers who were attracted by the first explosion. And when they were congregating around, there were two more explosions, and more people were injured. The Eguruleni fire emergency tanker that had responded was also affected, and the impact was felt within the hospital, OR Tambo Hospital, where the ceiling in the casualty fell down. But there were also a few houses who are closer to the bridge that were affected. Some caught fire, but luckily they managed to extinguish the fires quickly enough.
All right, Mr. Zwane, so now first responders are also describing this particular incident as well as the scene thereof as something that resembles a war zone, with some body parts even being strewn across the road. Can you confirm this for us, and how many people have been injured, and what is the death toll in this incident?
Yeah, bodies have been strewn around for about 300-400 meters. Even that emergency vehicle was pushed back by the impact of the explosion, and pushed it back to about 300 meters. The scene is still very much alive. We are doing a tally of the number of people that have died. I've counted about 7 on the scene, but I don't think that's the total number. So we will know later on, once the preliminary investigation has been concluded. We would have a clearer idea of how many people have died and how many were injured.
Right. As details continue to trickle in on this particular incident, they talk to us about how traffic has also been affected as a result of this particular accident.
Yeah, there's no traffic that will be allowed to go around Hospital Street. Has been completely cordoned off. That bridge is also completely damaged, so there will be no traffic using it for a long time. Even the train will not be able to use it, because this is a bridge. On top of the bridge, there are railway lines, so it's supposed to be used by railway by trains, but it will not be used. It's completely damaged.
So, Mr. Zwane, talk to us about the area that this particular incident happened. There are reports of how it is a residential area, or was it just on a main stretch off the road?
No, it's a residential area, just passes the hospital, and there are a couple of houses also around here. It's not very far from Boksburg Lake. So the impact of this explosion also went into the lake, where trees were seen to be on fire also earlier on. So yeah, it's in the residential area, not on the main road or arterial road. It's in the residential area.
Okay, so further tips now for road users that are planning on embarking on their trips today, especially when it comes to this particular accident. How will they be affected? I know that you said no traffic will be allowed to pass. So speak to us about some of the routes and avenues that are going to be available to motorists.
Yeah, Now, motorists have got a number of options when they come around here because it's in the suburb, so they must use other alternatives to get into the hospital, but avoid at all costs using hospital roads. And in that way, they'll be safe. And we still, again, calling on people to avoid traveling at night or early hours of the morning, because we've seen a number of accidents like these happening late at night and very early in the morning.
Right, Mr. Zwane, some reports coming in right now are pointing to driver negligence as a result of this particular accident. I know there were some reports of how the particular driver of this tanker had failed to adhere to the height restriction of that particular stretch of the road. Subsequently, this led to the tanker exploding itself. Are you able to confirm this for us at this point?
No, I'm not able to confirm that. They're still under investigation. We'll know all the details once the investigate preliminary reports on the crash have been compiled.
All right, that was Road Traffic Management Corporation spokesperson Simon Zwane on Zoom for us, just to speak to us about that accident, that tanker explosion, the tragic explosion that occurred this morning in the East Rand.